All right. I believe we are live on YouTube, so I'm so excited to kick off this virtual party to celebrate all of these amazing authors of Rooted to Rise right there. I believe we are live on YouTube, so I'm so excited to kick off this virtual party to celebrate all of these amazing authors of Rooted to Rise. Trying to figure out the double voices. So if I could get tech support, that would be great. We just keep it real here with Wildly Free Publishing. Trying all the things. Figure out double voices. So if I could get tech support, that would be great. We just keep it real here with Wildly Free Publishing.
I love it.
Trying all the things. Figure out double voices. So if I could get tech support, that would be great. We just keep it real here with Wildly Free Publishing.
I love it. Just
figure out double voices. So if I could get tech support, that would be great. We just all right, let's figure this out. Okay, let's start all over again. Welcome everyone to the virtual party. We do things wildly free here. That's why we are Wildly Free Publishing. So we have to be true to ourselves. We are here to celebrate the amazing 7 authors of a first of its kind, Rooted to Rise. Right here, we are actually even starting book 2 already. We have a lot of the future authors on this amazing celebration and getting so many more. We just got another one an hour ago, and we are even starting book 3, if you can believe it. I feel that it's important for you to all kind of be rooted in the story of where Rooted to Rise all started. So I'm going to give a short story of how all of this began, and I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. We had a tragedy happen 2 years ago. We lost a dear friend, and in that tragedy, I knew something had to happen. And I promised myself and my dear friend that we lost that I would never allow her voice to be silenced. I would spend the rest of my life making sure that people didn't forget her on any level. So the first book is dedicated to her. She will always have a part of every book that we ever write on this subject. And it's really just putting purpose to pain. I believe and I live this way in everything that I do. So my wild idea, if you know me, you just kind of throw things out, and I'm always trying something new. So I said, hey, anybody want to write a book with me? And these lovely ladies said yes. And why not? We've been in the crazy and the messy for the last decade plus with some of us. And so they said yes. I had no idea what I was doing. We had no idea what we were doing, but we did it together. We figured it out, and we made a beautiful book together. And that's such a testament to what life is about. Don't have it figured out. Don't not say yes because you don't have all the details or anything like that. Yep, do it messy always. And that's really what I just believe life is all about. And we get to do it together. And that's the true blessing in all of it. So with that being said, we'd like to share parts of our heart through a video, through a very short presentation, and then we're going to hear from these beautiful authors. We want to hear and have them share why did they say yes to this crazy idea, all the feelings that they had along the way, and how are they feeling about it now, and what would they like to share with others. So, Ashley, if you'd like to begin.
Here we go. All right, so just as a little FYI, you're also going to meet us. You're going to hear a bit about everything, and then we're going to have some giveaways that we're going to talk about. But here's that video that Rochelle was mentioning.
Dear friend, this is not your typical anthology. Take our hands, shed the blindfold, and come with us.
I stood there that evening looking at the tiny sample bottle of CBD oil and wondered if I should try it. I grew up thinking it was a harmful drug and didn't want to mess myself up and possibly lose the chance of getting a future kidney transplant.
The gate has always been open.
need to do your own research and heal the underlying emotions causing these issues. Once you do, everything else will fall into place.
For you,
Widow brain took effect immediately. I would not have been able to handle all the gruesome details without the help of CBD.
for those you love,
I found myself being able to pause, process, and respond rather than react disproportionately to a scenario I would later feel the need to apologize for.
despite rhetoric and conditioning.
For the first time, I felt comfortable publicly speaking out about cannabis. Despite any previous shame, I was now confidently owning the title of Cannamom.
And misinformation. We scrape, scramble, and hold on for dear life, and it becomes normal. We see our wins as the days things don't fall apart or break down. At least, that's the lie I believed. It's more than worth it to look inside.
All right, so make sure to stick around all the way until the end of this call. We're going to be posting our giveaways in our event at the end of the call, but there's going to be some books that we're giving away, bath bombs, a t-shirt, a sample of a hemp product, a digital soul contract reading, and some essential oil infused bracelets. So we've got some really great things for everybody.
So here they all are, all 7 brave souls that decided to figure out how to get their stories told and share with so many others. We are in bookstores around the world. We have gone international, not only through our book sales, but through our authors that will be in book 2. I have to say that rewatching that video brought up a lot of mixed feelings. I haven't rewatched that in a while. And it's just, it's not for the fame and the fortune, it's for the impacts that we are making in all spaces and just giving other people permission to welcome wellness and welcome storytelling. And that's really our foundation. And so we would love to invite the authors to speak and see their beautiful faces. And so I want to start off with my own story real quick, just to kind of get it kicked off. 8 years ago, Amy and I were just kind of hanging out, whatever. And she knew my story of my kidney transplant journey. And one day while I was tutoring, she said, "Hey, I'm coming over. I'm going to drop this off for you." And I said, "Okay." And I just have to tell you that within my story, there's so many facets, and it's not just my personal story. It became a family story. And it was really a gift to be invited to be a part of the community of Canna awareness, and then being able to have the gift of teaching it to others and supporting others and figuring it out together. None of us really know all the things, but to be able to walk the journey with other people is just such an honor and such a gift. And I wouldn't have had the most amazing friendships given to me in my life if it hadn't been for this community, because everyone on this screen are truly the ones that are now at the top of my list whenever I want to connect or love or be loved. And that really, to me, the community aspect of it is just amazing. So I'm going to pass it on to Ashley Elizabeth and let her share her takeaways from the journey. And after everyone shares, I think we just need to be in a space of celebration. And so applaud, put little hearts up on your screen, whatever you want to do, because this is a party. This is a celebration. And if you're watching this live from YouTube, please, clap, celebrate whoever you're here, whether it's a stranger or a friend or a family member, just sit in that space and afterwards maybe send them a message and just say, "I'm really proud of you," because this took a lot. And they all did it. So Ashley Elizabeth, you want to go next?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of those things when I was a little girl, I had a dream of being a published author. It was something that I can remember wanting, and feeling like it was completely out of my reach. It was something that I thought was only for a select group of people. It's something that when I listened to my heart, I felt like I had things to say, but when I got in a headspace of comparing myself to others, I was like, gosh, who needs my story? Like, how is my story something that is special and different? And um, my CBD story started several years ago. And it just totally changed my life. And then when Rochelle brought this opportunity to all of us, I just felt like it was this serendipitous moment. And I was like, how can I not say yes? How can I not be a part of this? And the women who were saying yes right alongside me, I was like, well, gosh, I can't say no to any of them either. But being a part of this, I think I didn't understand from the beginning. Yeah, it was a dream, but I didn't understand everything that it was going to be for me personally, and then everything it was going to be for the people who are in my life. Like, I didn't understand the reflective journey that I was going to go on. I was a procrastinator on my chapter, getting that done, and I waited until the very last day before the deadline, and I sat for, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 hours straight and just absolutely brain dumped all of it. And then before I could second guess anything, I sent it to James and Rochelle. I was like, I've got to make sure that it's just out of my hands and in theirs. And I don't know that I have felt so empowered and so excited and so nervous, but very excited. And then seeing the whole journey move forward, the people who have connected with my story. I'm a teacher, so I have also had a lot of moments where this particular type of journey has had some stigmas around it, and I had to come to terms with, like, yeah, I'm going to be, publishing this on my Facebook page where my assistant superintendent is going to be watching like what is happening. And but I did it and I put it out there, and the number of people who have come up to me now saying, like, I had no idea that this was your story. I cannot tell you how much I needed your story. And people who, I'm a writing teacher, and so even to like tell my kids, like, I have a book that's out there. Like, I can claim the title of published author. Like, I can guide you in a different way now. It just, I don't know, beyond anything else that this book has done, it really, I don't know, I just is humbled me, but also like propelled me forward in so many different spaces. So yeah, that's my story, and I'll pass it on over to Amy.
Thank you, Ashley. Oh my gosh, this is so surreal. Our book has officially been out since what, February? And it became bestseller on Amazon like that day. We were all together in the chat celebrating it. And I'm just excited for book number 2 already because I get to design the cover of that book as well. So, yep, my name is Amy Hicks. I'm one of the authors. And when Rochelle, like Ashley said, came to us with this idea, it was like, how could we not, right? I think we all said yes, and then we freaked out later. And so, writing the chapter really gave me a chance to reflect on like how much this plant has been present in different chapters of my own life, and reflect on that, because it started, my whole chapter is called From Shame to Success, because there was a part in my life where I was hush hush about the plant, and I didn't want people to know except for those select, buddies of mine who would get together on the weekends and enjoy smoking weed instead of drinking alcohol. And it's crazy how much that alcohol is still celebrated, and we're breaking that stigma. And there was a time where we weren't talking about it. And so I'm like, in my chapter, it's like, okay, listen, the real crime is knowing that the plant helps but not saying a word. And I think that's why our stories are just the hugest thing, because they speak 1,000 words. And it's like, I want this book to empower others to be a voice. Maybe it's not necessarily for the plant, but just other people who read it, they might be passionate about something else, or that they believe in, or have something that you're afraid to talk about. but it's like you're giving permission to others when you are brave and you stand up for that. And then you see the ripple effect because every single person here linked arms because of a story they heard. It was the hope. It was like when all else fails, we have this plant, and that's what these stories are doing, because each story is so rooted in the same thing, but it's so different too, because it might be like, oh, I connect with Ashley and her, her story of being a teacher, or the debilitating, anxiousness holding her back, or maybe it's the loss of a spouse, or going through the medical world and being this anomaly and getting to talk about the plant. Like, that's empowering. So it's so beautiful to see everyone's stories, how they're touching other lives, and like people coming out of the woodworks being like, I want to share my story. I want to be an author. I didn't know that I could. And so when you come together, even in groups like this, it makes it less scary. Writing an anthology was pretty cool. It's hard writing one chapter. I give kudos to those who write an entire book, because there's a lot. And I think that's what's so great about working with a publishing company too, is that you get to like just put it out there, and then make sure, like, they're making sure it stays in your voice. It might be like, ooh, talk about that a little bit more, or let's dig into your heart a little bit more. And then it just becomes this beautiful masterpiece. So I just want to thank everyone for being brave and making this book a big success. And I can't wait for what else is to come, because we're just getting started with all this.
Yes, we are. Thank you. And I'm going to introduce the man who started it all first. He has to leave in a couple of minutes, so I wanted to make sure we spotlight the man behind the entire book. James, do you want to share from the publisher and editor standpoint?
I would be very happy to. Thank you, everyone, for being here. My name is James Bryant. I'm the publisher, the executive editor, and soon to be author in Canon Book 2 as well, which I'm really excited about. I'm not one to share my story, so I'm a little nervous about it. I've got the nerves and the butterflies, but I'm like, yes, I can do this, because I've seen the power in the stories that these 7 women, amazing women, have shared. And I cannot wait not only to share my story, but read the stories of all the authors that will be in book 2 and book 3 as too. So 2 years ago, out of the blue, I told someone, hey, I can publish your stories. And from there, Wildly Free Publishing was born, because Rochelle always wanted to be an author. And I'm like, it's time to start publishing. It's time to start getting those stories out there. And from there, we connected with these 7 people that we knew we held dear and close to our hearts, and we wanted to help them get their stories shared. And as I said, I cannot wait to get everyone's stories out there too. My goal as the editor and the publisher is not only to make this process as easy as I possibly can, but also to make sure that your stories are yours, that you don't sound like me, you don't sound like Ashley, you don't sound like Rochelle, you don't sound like Emily, you sound like yourselves. So of course, Emily gets to sound like Emily, Ashley gets to sound like Ashley. But you don't sound like me, because everyone's voice is unique, everyone's voice is different, and everyone has a story that's there. And whether I was crying with you, whether I was crying separately and having a box of tissues next to me, it did not matter. It's like Rochelle saw all the tissues that I went through as I read so many of these chapters in the first book. And I cannot wait to continue reading them too. So thank you and kudos to all of you. I wish I could be here for the entire time, but I've got to take my son to work. So thank you, everyone.
All right. None of this would have been possible without James. Just saying that on so many levels. So he needed to be celebrated today too. And he's doing all the behind scenes of parenting. As everybody knows, when you run your own businesses, life always continues to go on. So let's have one of the other authors. I'm going to pick Stephanie.
All right, thanks, Rochelle. Appreciate that. Hi, my name is Stephanie Anderson, and I am one of the authors in the first anthology, Rooted to Rise. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Sunday afternoon for this book party. I'm excited to be here today sharing my passion for this plant. Its benefits in my life have literally changed me both physically and mentally. And while the physical benefits have been really nice, it's the changes in my mental wellness that have been the most impactful in my life. And had it not been for those positive mental changes, I probably would not have enjoyed the author process as much as I did. Because, you know, as a overachiever with some procrastination and perfectionism issues, let's say, the way I spoke to myself prior to CBD giving me the clarity of, you know, working on my mental wellness, I probably would have just beaten myself up a lot about the author process because it's a tough ride. But because I had the CBD did lead me down the mental wellness journey that I'm on, and I did have you know, the CBD's helped with the clarity. I have enjoyed the process. Now, this is my first experience, but I do feel blessed that it's been with Wildly Free because Wildly Free Publishing is very generous in their grace. You are never going to feel like you're not doing it right because really there is no right in this process. It's your story. You're writing about you. It's your process. It's your emotions. It's your truth. James and his team will definitely help pull the story out of you through the editing process. Sometimes it releases easy. Sometimes it doesn't. But one thing's for sure, it never releases when you want it to. Right, Ashley? Last day, 6 hours. Yeah. If you're considering being in the second book or writing another story about something else that's affected you, and you're just not sure it's good enough to get into a book, it is. It is. Every story is good enough. One of my besties has always said, sharing is caring. Your job is to share your story. You're not the one that gets to decide who it impacts, who it benefits, how it gets shared. Your job is just to share it. So if you're not sure if you're ready to share, I encourage you to talk to Wildly Free because they will be able to help you with that process. I'm so happy I said yes to this process. Probably just as happy as I said yes to CBD when it was presented to me 6 years ago, because both things have been life-changing for me. But the second would not have happened had I not gained clarity from taking an all-natural supplement from the cannabis plant on a daily basis to get that mental clarity that allowed me to see the additional inner work and things that I could work through to gain more mental clarity. CBD is just the first stepping stone. It's not going to fix all your problems, and it's not going to do the inner work for you. You're going to have to do that. But CBD can definitely help pave the way to make it okay, So thank you all for being here today, and I look forward to hearing from the rest of the authors because everybody's just lovely.
Who do you want to pass it on to, Stephanie? It's your choice.
Oh, I'm gonna pass it along to Emily. She's in St. Louis with me, and I'm just gonna pass it over to her.
Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Ashley and Rochelle, for hosting this. This is a long time coming to get here, guys. Holy cow. I don't remember the time frame of the first message that Rochelle sent about it, but like literally as soon as she said it, I was just like, yes, like I knew yes. And then like things came up along the way. And every time it was just testing me. Like, why wouldn't, I mean, I said yes, and then I made like a huge change to my business, like right at the beginning. And I remember like crying on the first Zoom to everybody, being like, no matter what happens, I will always love you all. And and it was just like, it was just, that's how this journey has gone, is that no matter what is going on in our lives, we have all just kind of like just done it all together the last, like, most of us have, I don't know, seven, or what are we at now? 7.5 years or more of this. And some of us have gone back even longer with our journeys. So this being just a part of our story, and just all of us being able to collectively come together to do it at the same time, like, it really was just, I don't know, just like a level of alignment that we never, I mean, back 5 years ago, we would have just never thought that would have, I don't know, like, we all just went along the journey, but like, this was not planned, it was not predicted, but gosh, how beautiful did it turn out to be? Like, I look at this book, it's not going to show you, but I look at it all the time, and I'm still in awe, honestly, that we created something so pretty. Not just physically and aesthetically, but just inside, just sharing our hearts. And for me, that was my hardest part, was making the decision to go beyond the CBD aspect. I wasn't going to share my original journey with cannabis, which began when I was 18, just the THC side. And I ended up deciding to, because I really wanted people to know the truth. And that was my truth. I didn't just discover CBD in my 30s. I had discovered the other kind of the other kind of cannabis when I was young, and it helped me medically then when I was young. And that gave me the encourage all these years to know that there's something about cannabis, like there's something to it. And I didn't know any of the research back in 1820. I had no clue that 20 years later I would have gone back to college for cannabis. I would have been writing a book about cannabis. I would be helping people and their families like find their own cannabis journeys. Like, I never could have imagined this 20 years ago, but just something in me when I was 18 just told me, how can this plant be so wrong if it just adds so much value to my life and to others? And so for me, choosing to put that in there was so scary, because I work still for a school district, and sharing that I've had a past and is still a presence with cannabis like that, it was super scary. But I just felt like it was the truth. And if I was going to do this, I was just going to share the truth. I wasn't going to sugarcoat it. I did leave out some really personal parts that I almost put in there. And James, God bless his heart, because he read it and was probably like, I didn't ask to read this, some of this stuff. But maybe another day that part of the journey will come out. But I do want to say that through this whole process, like, James was just so, so great at turning anything that was like jumbled in my mind. He really helped provide so much clarity to, like, half of the, I shouldn't even say half, probably 90% of why I feel like this book is so good is because he was able to take our little pieces of the journey and help us cultivate it to sound not professional, but just to sound clear, because a lot of times we're writing this out, and um the words just don't always flow the way they should. So I think he helped all of us definitely make our voice clear, concise, and keep that tone that he definitely talked about. So I will say that part of the journey for me, I was scared about, because I was like, oh my God, like, how am I going to get this done in these timelines? And they were always so, like Stephanie said, so gracious with us, and we figured it out. We all got it done when we needed to in the end, and look, we have a product for you all to look at. So I don't know if I had much else to say, except I'm very grateful for everyone showing up tonight. And I know we have some people watching on YouTube. I've been kind of keeping an eye on it. And so that's really exciting and cool. And then people can go back and watch this in the future. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting this journey. And I want to pass it on to Shell. Where are you, Shell? There you are.
Hi, everybody. So I would like to say, like,
Me too. I was the biggest procrastinator in writing my story. I literally waited probably the day before the deadline after already having quit like twice. So, hello, I'm Michelle Perez Rodriguez, and my story is kind of crazy, and I kind of feel like our common denominator in for all of us in our story is actually like the stigma of cannabis, whether it's cannabis, hemp, or whatever. I feel like we all kind of struggled with that from the moment that we found like THC for me. Um, I think I realized my biggest I think I realized like how much it helped me when I became a widow. So if you actually, read my story, you'll see how big me and my spouse were like the biggest advocates for cannabis. Like he was like one of our biggest supporters. He loved it. He came everywhere with us girls. Like I remember our first event and he drove us all around in Vegas. Like it was pretty amazing. So to actually be here with everybody, like now 3 years later after his passing and we wrote a book, like what? I was so scared. But I would have to say James and Rochelle are the most compassionate human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Like, I wanted to quit. Like, I said, yeah. Immediately, I said yes. I was like, ooh, I want it. What is she saying? Yes. I'm like, I'm in. And then I was like, whoa, hold up. Like, I'm scared. I'm scared to tell my story. Like, I'm scared to be raw and real. And and again, you come back to that stigma of cannabis. So I think one of the proudest moments lately, because I talk about our book all the time. I sell it at the bar I work for, and people are always like, "Hey, I want to buy your book." Well, I gave a book away. I gave it to Morris. He's one of my poker players. And he was like, "You said you're going to bring me a book. When am I going to get a book?" I was like, "All right, Morris, I'm bringing you a book." And literally just on Friday, he was like, "Hey, come here." And he's like 71, 75. He's up there and he can barely hear me when I'm actually talking to him at poker. But he read my book and he was like, "Hey, I'm sorry about your husband. And I just want to tell you, you're doing all right. You're doing pretty good." And I literally I'm working though, so I wanted to bawl like right there because I mean, my story has reached a ton of people. I couldn't be more proud of myself. I am not going to be a part of book 2, but I am going to be a part of book 3. So I've been telling everybody that from, the moment we put out book 1. And because from what I experienced in book 1, I'm already writing my story. Like I'm already jotting it down because my story is about being the cycle breaker. And unfortunately for me, like I got caught up being a widow and turning to alcohol, which was never a plan for me. Like my dad was an alcoholic. I never thought like I would end up there. So now my next story will be about breaking that cycle with the help of cannabis because unfortunately I stopped using it the way I needed to. And then again, like, I mean, even when you read my story, I talk about it. I tell you, you know, what was acceptable? Alcohol, you know? How is alcohol acceptable? So here we are, and it's kind of crazy because like I work at a bar, but I actually do see like a different generation kids who don't want to drink and they'd rather smoke, and they're a little more wiser. And it's kind of crazy. I also had a guy who came and he was like, all right, I'm going to take a drink. I haven't drank in 4 years. And I'm like, well, why start now? So, and then I'm like, look, I wrote a book and I'm always telling about it. So I don't know. Again, like it's just always hard to tell your story and what you've been through, but don't be scared. And especially with our publishers, Rochelle and James, like they will help you through it. They'll see you through it, and they let you tell your story in your way. Like you don't have to be grammatically correct. They're going to help you with all those things. And like I always tell everybody, like be a voice and not an echo. So, and this is my 4 years for hemp, but I started using cannabis when I was 17, so like 32 years ago. But I think that's about all I have to say. So I guess I will thank you all for listening anyway. And I am going to hand it over to Rochelle. Or Rachel, I'm sorry. I said Rochelle.
That's all right. If I'm going to get confused with anybody, that's an honor. So, man, I don't even know what to say now because, man, everybody's stories, and I've read the stories 5 or 6 times in the book, but they're all just so powerful. And this book for me was a chain of serendipitous encounters, and you can read about a few of them in my chapter when you read the book. But cannabis was part of my story of actually, survival, because I had hit pretty much rock bottom and was pretending, like all of us perfectionist pretenders do, mask wearers, as I call us. We play the part well. We can sing and dance really, really well in front of people, but behind closed doors, many of us at the beginning of our stories were struggling. And I was one of those people. And it wasn't just the physical was the manifestation of all the things that was going on. But that was my wake up call. And I had been in the medical field, like some of the people here on this call today, that I've been in the medical field for almost 2 decades. And I hit a wall with it. Like nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. And I never say that I had chance encounters, because the person that introduced me to cannabis was a divine appointment, in my opinion. And so that divine appointment has been a trickle down effect of appointments. And that's what led to this book. And when I remember the meeting, Rochelle said it, because I was kind of at a place within my own because we were all in business kind of together at that time. We still, most of us are, but at that time we were. And I was kind of at a point where I was ready to exit, like just exit. But the community is what kept me. There's the people, most of the people on the screen were what kept me there. And I was like, okay, I'll just stay for the community aspect of it. We all had the tragedy. And then it became kind of more like profound for me. Like I needed an exit strategy. And then Rochelle said something about the book. And I had been asked many times to be parts of books throughout the years. And I always said no. But when she said it, it was like, oh, shoot. I'll paraphrase that. Oh, shoot. I have to say yes. And I knew it was the yes time because my story hadn't been written yet. All the other book offers, the story wasn't there. Like it would have been a masked, prefab, perfected story that wasn't real. And even James called me out on it when I sent my first edit in. He sent it right back pretty quickly and said, you're not writing this. He's like, rewrite it. He said, this is too clinical. This is not you. I won't publish this. I mean, I was mad. I was so mad at him. But I loved him dearly for it because he could read through the bullshit. And it was wonderful that he did. And I was able to pull out the pieces, like everybody's talked about, the pieces to my story that needed to be told. And I appreciate you, James, for that. Gratitudes. That I was able to pretty much drop the mask and tell the real story. And for me, being from the background that I was from, the industry that I had worked in for so long, there was so much stigma. And I knew it was going to be a backlash. And to some degree it was, but then the rest of it was all just made up in my head too. So I realized that as part of the journey. And, you know, if you're thinking about any story to tell, it doesn't even have to be a cannabis story, any story that you have to tell, just jump. Like literally jump and let everybody else figure it out as well as yourself along the way. That's kind of the way we all did with this book. We all just jumped, had no idea what was going to happen. We still don't know what's going to happen with it. Like we have no idea the magnitude or the experiences that people are going to have with it. We have no idea because it's forever in print. And that was a very hard pill for me to swallow. When I said that out loud the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually published. It's in print. It will not go away. The story never goes away now. I can't hide it anymore. And I think for many of us, that was when the mask all came off. We were able to share who we truly were. We were able to put it all down and say, okay, let's move on. And we rose. And that's what we did with this book. So thank you both.
Who knew it would be so like holding back tears right now? This is our first time in a very long time that the 7 of us have gotten together, and it's been a magical experience from the very beginning. So I want to invite if any of the authors want to add anything, and then we're going to just take a few minutes and we're going to celebrate. And I want to also celebrate everybody who is here today and watching on YouTube. Just take a moment to celebrate yourself. You know, this event is about celebrating the 7 authors, but I think we don't take enough time to celebrate ourselves. So does anybody else have anything they want to share? If not, we're going to just take like 30 seconds and just have a celebration, because that's what it is. It's a party. It's a celebration. It's a celebration of people showing up for themselves and others that they'll never know what kind of impact that they ever made. So anybody want to share anything, or is it celebration time?
Celebration time.
Celebration time. All right, Ashley, you want to kick off the celebration?
We need some cannabis.
Of course I do.
Here. Yes. Everyone find the plant emoji.
Oh, that's so great.
I cannot thank everyone enough for just being in this space with us, having us celebrate. And we just want to share a few other things with you. And then we're going to invite anybody who wants to stay behind after the celebration. And none of this would be possible without everybody you see, everybody you don't see. We have Wildly Free team members that you're not even seeing that work behind the scenes. I just want to give a shout out to Nina, who is our web designer. We're going to give you an opportunity to go in there and sign up for our newsletter, which is coming out in July, the very first one. And we want to just encourage everybody who, you know, you have conversations, you go and have coffee with someone, you whatever, and you get to talk about having a book. Just send them that little like invitation to give themselves permission to show up the way you're showing up. First and foremost, though, I do want to point out the fact that we have future authors of book 2 today. So I want to shout out Amanda. I want to shout out Nicole. I want to shout out Dr. Aaron. I want to shout out Michelle Morris. And we have so many others that weren't able to attend live today. And we just want to invite you, whether it is the platform of cannabis or it is the platform of something else, just reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. It's my absolute favorite thing to do. I have probably close to 100 conversations a month at this point because everybody wants to be heard, that they have a story that they want to tell. And it's no commitment, it starts off with connection and conversation. So congratulations to all the future authors. I'm so excited that some of you got to be here today. And I'm shaking right now because just the fact of thinking about the ripple effect of me and my favorite people just saying yes to something, and now these beautiful people get to say yes to themselves and the ripple effect is just and I never planned to be a publisher or an author or anything. I just live with my guiding heart. I guess that's the best way to put it. And I'm always ready to say yes to whatever that inner voice is. And I'm ready to try, and I'm ready to stumble a million times along the way. And I want to thank everybody for being patient because I stumbled a lot writing this book, but nobody cared. And that's the beauty of just all of us showing up authentically and loving each other authentically and unconditionally. So super excited. We're going to run through just a little bit more for those of you watching on YouTube and everybody else that's here. And we have some giveaways as well. So we'll get into that. So let's just continue. So you got to meet all the authors. Just a quick overview of the 4 people that made this book happen from a publishing standpoint. You already know enough about me. You got to meet James. Ashley Elizabeth, I would love for you to just hop on real quick and just kind of tell people all that you do. And then after that, Amy Hicks, if you'll hop on real quick and tell everyone and maybe share the story of how you even you got started to begin with, because at the very, very beginning, it was just me. And then it was me and James. And then it became Ashley Elizabeth and Amy hopped on too. So I think it's important to share that story as well.
Well, I have a rule in my life that I would highly encourage everybody to follow, which is when Rochelle invites me to something, I say yes. That's just a policy in my life. I have told her unequivocally, when you invite, I'm in. Put my name on the dotted line. I don't care what it is. Actually, recently we were just laughing the other day because she was like, I think I want to do a food truck. And y'all, I hate small spaces and hot things. And I was like, I don't even care. If we're doing a food truck, we're doing a food truck. If there's an invitation for me, I am in. So the big good. I love that you're laughing like that, Rochelle. No, I already shared that I've wanted to be an author for a long time. I already shared that I'm a writing teacher. And when all of this started, I'm also very much a poet at heart. I think in poetry. I don't know, it's just a way that I view the world. And I had the honor, when we were kind of sitting on one of these book calls, I just asked him, would everybody be okay if I took a shot at writing the intro for this? So the very first poem that you encounter, the gateway poem, I had a chance to go through and I read everybody's chapters raw, before any editing had happened, I just wanted to get the feel for what it was. And that all of the things that they've talked about, all of the alignment that we've had, it was just so clear from the beginning. And it just poured out of me. And as I was reading it, I reached out to James and I was like, James, if you ever want anybody to sit beside you in the editing of this, because I read everything before James read it, even for the first time. And I was so impacted and I was in tears and I was feeling all the feels. And after 16 years of editing with middle schoolers, I know that people tend to, I don't know, they just let a lot out when they're writing. And so I reached out to him and I was like, listen, if you ever want somebody else to be able to put their eyes on this, I would be honored to put my eyes on some of it with you. And then there were a handful of chapters that he was like, I don't know that I've ever met a more heart-centered editor. There are editors who take things to the chopping block, and that is not James. He is so intentional about how he approaches things. And so he pulled me in on a handful of chapters and he was like, hey, do you think I'm drawing this out in the right way? Is this the right question to be asking? How would you word this? What's the best way to coach them? And it was a very organic thing. And by the time we were done, Rochelle and James were like, would you like to come and edit with us? And again, if Rochelle says, do you want in? My answer is yes. And so I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. And then the whole time I've been in awe of Amy Hicks for years. Just all of her branding, her ability to design things, like she is just incredible. But I feel like I have this ability to connect things and tell stories about things. And so she builds stuff and I'm like, oh, now I want to build new things and I want to build things off of that. And so I kind of just stumbled into the marketing side because I am so passionate about Wildly Free and I'm so passionate about what we stand for, like publishing stories that nobody else is publishing people that nobody else would publish, people that like are getting missed, voices that should be out there, and that other publishing companies who have other goals, like they're passing by these beautiful stories and these beautiful humans, and Wildly Free doesn't do that. With Wildly Free, it's like what's aligned with us and like what's in your heart, that's what we get to draw out and that's what we get to do. And so having a chance to be a writing coach and an editor and then stumbling into the marketing of that, and then obviously Rooted to Rise, like CBD changed my life. The women on this call changed my life. I was like, how can I not want to shout all these things from the rooftops? So I sort of stumbled into all of it, but I just feel like everybody at Wildly Free, I mean, everybody on this call, everybody who wrote their chapters, but people lead with their hearts. And I think that that's what you feel. And that's why I took my chance to say yes. So I'll pass it over to Amy.
We are a real publishing house team. It's pretty cool because we already have other books in the work. And I think what's so cool is, like Rochelle says, how it all came together. I mean, we just do life together and we honestly live kind of wildly free in our life too, because sometimes it's hard for us to understand. We have to be like, we need to remember that the rest of the world doesn't live kind of how we do, like fly by the seat of our pants, no expectations, you know, if you want to try something, just jump and learn as you go. And it's kind of how we've done everything. And we both just see each other's gifts and we see gifts in others. And it's like, you would be good here, you would be good here. You know, we bring out each other's strengths. And for me, my background has always been creation and design. And I knew Rochelle came to me when she just wanted to start her Wildly Free branding. And then it stemmed into, it wasn't even supposed to start out as a publishing company, but she had a kidney story to tell. I knew I was going to design that cover because when I know someone, I just know what's in you. Like, I know what to bring out as far as the visuals. It's kind of crazy. It's like people will look at it and they'll be like, how did you know? That's exactly what I was thinking. And so I think it's just that connection piece. And that's the beautiful part of connection. When you tell your story, you feel like you get to know a bit about that person, and then you never know how you're going to connect. I always say you cross people's path for a reason. And if you're here, you're watching, you're crossing our paths for a reason. We don't know what it might be at the moment, but you know, maybe years later, things kind of all synchronicity come into place. So it's really cool that we get to have these different businesses and weave in different things that we love. And I just, it's, you know, it's easy for me to do what I love, which is creating beautiful things and putting it out there for others, because it's the stories inside that matter, but people judge a book by its cover. So we want to make sure they're picking it up and giving you the credit that you deserve. So yeah, it's been a beautiful, beautiful creation. Can't wait for what's to come.
Wouldn't want to do life without the two of you. So thank you for linking arms and everybody else. So we would just like to offer some beautiful things to all of you. We're going to go back to a little bit of a presentation format, just because everybody here is probably somewhat of a visual learner. So Ashley Elizabeth puts these beautiful offerings together. And the first thing that we want to do is just kind of let you know that it's not just about, you know, writing with us or what have you, but we do have a few things, and then we're going to give some giveaways out, and then we get to have everybody walk away with something that they didn't have beforehand. So we would love, love, love to create an invitation without expectation. You could be next, whether it's you've already committed to writing a book with us or the future, or you're watching this on YouTube or any of the other platforms that we will be sharing this. So today and today only, so if you're watching or if you are attending live, we want to give you the opportunity to have both of these books for $25, free shipping. And we've given you the 2 links because we weren't able to change our website offerings quick enough, keeping it real there. We also want to invite you, if you want to start writing, we have a book that James and I wrote called From Heart to Page. And everything we stand for is that we invite people to speak from their hearts, write from their hearts, heal from their hearts, experience from their hearts, all the things. So today we'd like to give you that book for 99 cents. It is an online offering where you can also print it out and bind it and make it all pretty and however is best for you. But today is going to be 99 cents. When you become a author with us, you also get this as a free gift. So I just want to put that out there. Where would we be if it wasn't for Rooted to Rise, but the opportunity to write a book and another book and another book? So today we are offering that if you sign with us to be for book 2 by tomorrow at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. This just means throwing in your deposit and then we will send the official contract. We will give you a free digital copy of Rooted to Rise. It's a beautiful platform you can use on multiple levels, especially to tell people, hey, I'm going to be in book 2. And then you also get a free hour consultation about your chapter above what you're already getting as a signed on author. This is huge because it's a $70 value here. And we just want to say thank you for joining us to celebrate. And here's your offering. And then let's say Canna stories are not your platform. Sign with any of our Wildly Free Publishing projects or your own project, whether it's a solo one or it's a book you want to curate as an anthology by Tuesday, July 1st at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and you're going to get 20% off of your deposit. And this is huge because our pricing is already well below. And that's just because we want to get as many voices, as many stories out there. And this is a calling versus a business for us. And a calling comes from your heart. A business idea comes from your head. And though we all need to be in our head at times, I have, now that I'm almost 47, get to be 47 next month. It's a gift to be able to listen to the calling in my heart. And I rather live the rest of my days out in my heart-centered spaces rather than my head, because my head is not invited to every conversation. So we'd love to offer this. We will be putting this in comments and everything. We have Venmo and Zelle. And please just include your emails and your shipping addresses based on what it is. And then we also want to invite you to some other spaces. You never know what we're up to. And it might be an opportunity that you want to dive into. So let's stay connected. We have YouTube, obviously, which is what we're streaming through. We would love to invite you to be part of our Facebook community, our Instagram community, and also visit our website to sign up for the very first newsletter that we are offering. And you never know, again, what we might be offering, whether it's, special offerings. We have about, 6 projects going on right now. We just released one about the 4 seasons. And that's a really neat offering and at a very low price point that we want everybody to feel welcome, any age, any level of anything, whether it's a piece you're writing, it's a photograph, it's a drawing, it's a poem, whatever it is. And we can always send you more info about that because we just had our interest meeting about it last Wednesday. But we have multiple platforms, and we're always welcoming, like, what's on your heart? Let's have a chat about it. Maybe it's something that we haven't come up with yet. We invite all ideas and all passions. And so we will have the giveaways on the Facebook page I'm reading right now. But we do want to honor everybody who is here today. So we want the authors to be able to show or share what they want to give away. So we'll do this pretty quickly. And everyone who attended today live will get an immediate giveaway. So we want to honor that. So with Ashley Elizabeth, if you want to go first, let people know what you're offering, and then we will reach out to the winners. So I think the best way to do this is to just randomly pick. And then everybody who's watching on YouTube, you will have an opportunity as well. And we will get your information and ship your giveaways to you directly. How does that sound, everybody? All right, Ashley.
Sounds perfect. And I think if for those of you who are here right now, if there's something that somebody shares that's like on your heart and you're like, please put it in the chat and then let us know if that's something that feels like it really aligns with you. So I've got 4 of our Rooted to Rise books, which are going to be signed by several of the authors. So I have an actual physical one. I know a lot of people got the digital copies, but these are the physical ones. I also have these bath bombs that are no longer in creation. These are some old bath bombs that people just raved over, and they are still fresh and wonderful. I give these away to gifts, like as gifts for people all the time. But I have 4 of these that I'm going to be giving away. So can't wait to send one of them to somebody.
Awesome. I have some t-shirts. Your choice of One Plant, One Love, support that, or Hope. And these are great conversation starters. That was kind of the intention, is start more conversations. Can't wait for you to wear them around town.
Rachel, what do you have to offer?
Well, I said earlier I had serendipitous encounters in my whole story. And one of those was I came across a tool that helped me understand what my soul's journey was here, not just the physical aspect of me, but the soul part of it. And that is part of my physical story. And so I trained in learning how to read people's soul contracts. So I'm giving away a digital reading to one of the viewers today, or participants. So I'll be doing that. So I'll connect with you and get your stuff and send you your report on that frequencies and what your soul's telling you to do.
Which, if you've never done that before, I had no idea what that was before I had mine done earlier this year. And it is like incredible. I just blew my mind.
Same. I had mine done too, and it just shifted so much for me. All right, Stephanie, what are you giving away?
I'm doing two of our signed Rooted to Rise books today. So yeah, be happy to share the physical book signed with some of the participants today. So thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you. Michelle, what do you have for us?
So I'm going to do some essential oil bracelets. They will be African turquoise, though, which means transformation, growth, and protection. So I will give away 3 of those to some people, whoever wants.
Yeah, I have one that I got a couple of years ago and I love it. So thank you. All right, Emily.
I have a book and a little 7-day supply of our CBG collagen, which is a really nice little, it's chocolate flavored. So you can add it to a shake or you can drink it with coffee. It's really good. So I'm excited. And a book.
Thank you. Well, we have lots and lots of books. So everybody, we will reach out to everybody who is able to attend live. And then we will give the rest of the giveaways to everyone watching on YouTube, as well as anybody else who watches the replay today. So let's say that. But everybody who is here today, we will reach out to you and you will get first dibs and pick which one you want. So that's the bonus to being able to be here live. So pick whichever one you want, whatever anybody said, and we will get those to you as soon as possible. Well, I have to say thank you to everybody watching now, watching later. When I came up with the idea of getting us all back together and everything, I didn't realize how heart-serving it was going to be for me personally. So I can't even imagine what everybody is feeling. And I am just so, so honored that we get to do life together on whatever level we're meant to. And so thank you everybody for being in this space with us. I really, really appreciate it. And with that, does anybody else have anything they want to say first? Just lots of love. All right. Well, thank you so, so much. And until we meet again and until our paths cross, if we haven't crossed our paths yet. So thank you. Goodbye, everyone.